Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom Airsoft. It's good to see you again. If this is your first time here, then as always, it is good to see you and I hope you're going to stick around. Okay, well, for our weekend video this week, we're going to be taking a look at installing this, which we had a look about a week ago, the CO2 conversion kit for a Galaxy or Lancer Tactical M82 replica, into this Lancer Tactical M82. So we'll go through, show you how to do it. It's not, I don't think it's a very difficult job. You don't really need any tools for it. I like to grease up the bolt with silicone grease because it's plastic on plastic, so you might need some of that. But first things first, let's strip down the Barret and then we can have a look at what we're dealing with. So I'll speed this bit up for you, but you have to take your scope off and everything and then take the top section off, and I'll come back to you when we're at that bit, okay? Okay guys, so once you've got those bits off, you'll notice at the back of the replica here, we've got two pins. We need to pull this pin out. We should just pull all the way through like so. Put that to one side. I hope you can make this out on camera, guys. And then once that pin is out, we take out this front pin here, which again, hopefully you can make that out on camera. That pin there, guys, that just pulls out. So long one that's at the back, short one at the front, and then once that's out, this top section will simply slide away like so. Helps having the bipod on this one, guys, makes it a bit easier. Okay, so with that slid out the way, and we're onto the guts of the replica, as it were. Now this kit, if we get that out at this point, as you can probably see, you get a new charging handle, new cylinder included, new spring for return and new spring guide, and the CO2 bolt. So what I think we'll do is we'll get those parts out first, and then we've got those all ready. So there's our new spring guide, guys. Spring, bolt assembly with nozzle, which is a metal nozzle, so that's quite nice. Pop that there, and our new cylinder and cylinder head. So all metal, guys. All these components are metal. Looks like they've been sat for a while. So what I might do is give them a bit of a clean up, bit of a clean out with a rag. Make sure they're all nice and clean, and then we'll pop them into the replica. So bear with me, guys, and I'll be back to you. Okay guys, I'm back with you. That's everything cleaned up. So we're now ready to remove the existing mechanism. Now, as you can probably see, this works on a spring. So instead of CO2, you've got spring power. So we have to get this out first of all, which is easier said than done. And in order to do that, you've got to push this block forward, which I'm making look very difficult. Shouldn't be difficult. There we go. So a bit of pressure on that, guys, because you're squashing in the mainspring. But once you've got that, the whole lot should come out like so. Now all these bits, guys, you're going to need that. So you want to keep hold of that. That's your recoil spring, you're going to need that. You will no longer need that spring guide or mainspring because we're going to CO2 power, so you can get rid of that. Next up, you can get rid of the piston, guys. You're not going to be needing that because that's going to be powered by CO2. And also, you can get rid of that because that cylinder is for the spring. Now what I would say is, guys, you want to keep hold of those things. There's nothing wrong with keeping hold of them. They might be worth keeping hold of. Just purely from a point of view, if you ever do want to go back to the spring instead of using this CO2 conversion. But those bits you won't need, but we are going to be putting the replacement parts in. So what I like to do, guys, is put a bit of silicone grease on the rails. I know it's plastic, but you know, if I can reduce the friction when I'm operating it, then that's better for me as far as I'm concerned. So just put a little dab of silicone grease on there. Okay, that's that. So we've siliconed that up so that'll be nicely lubricated now, guys. With regard to the CO2 bolt, the CO2 bolt doesn't really need any lubrication, but I have given it a clean up and a wipe over it with an oily rag just to make sure it's nice and clean. What will happen is when we've completed the conversion, oh, you can hear that squeaking away, guys, that needs a bit of oil on it. That's where your CO2 cartridge is going to go, and then you'll screw this back on to tighten the cartridge down, and that'll be what powers the replica from now on, guys, instead of the mainspring. So let's do that just now. So we're going to need this new cylinder in, which should slide in same as the old one. I find it helps if you pull the trigger while you do this, guys. Gives you a bit of extra space. And then we put the new bolt in, which goes in there. Now remember I said to keep this part and this spring earlier on, guys? Well, that's because we're going to still be making use of this. So that's your return spring. We've now got a much smaller spring for our spring guide. You put your small spring on there and the small spring that goes on top of the spring guide, like so. And then just like we did when we took the old one out, we're now going to be using this spring guide. It's a little bit fiddly, guys, so let me just get to grips with it here. There we go, guys. Once you've got it all lined up, that should push back in like so. There we go, guys, and that's that back in there. So now it should be much easier to cock. Yeah, that's a lot better, guys. So that is basically you. That is your CO2 conversion done. After a bit of fiddling about to get it in, it will be much easier next time. But once that's in order to change your CO2, you're going to have to take this mechanism out with the upper receiver removed. Put your CO2 cartridge in, put that back together, and then that's going to last you for about 50 or 60 shots. Not very easy to do, guys, not very convenient. I would say if the performance relates to the effort, then it'd be worth going for. But as it stands, it's a bit fiddly, but it's in. So the next video I do on this upgrade series with this Lancer M82, we'll be taking a look at doing the hop chamber and various other things to it, but I thought we'd get that in there today, and then if you've never fit that before, at least you've got an idea how to do it. So just to recap, guys, these bits you won't be putting back in. You won't need those, but you can keep them in case you want spares. They'll be replaced. Stick your new assembly in. Every time you change CO2, you're going to have to take this bolt out, which again, not the end of the world, but it's a bit fiddly. You're going to have to mess about putting the upper receiver on. The reverse of putting the upper receiver on, guys, is easy. You basically just slide it back on, the reverse of taking it off. So not very difficult at all, guys. Just make sure you've got your pins at the ready. Because otherwise you can make it as fiddly or as not fiddly as you want. So there we go, guys, that's that CO2 bolt fitted. Very short video today, just giving you an update on some of the things that obviously I'm doing to this Barret. Hopefully you enjoyed it, hopefully you liked it. And if you have any questions about the CO2 bolt or about this Lancer Tactical LT-20 in general, then drop me a comment below. I will always respond to comments. Might not get back to you straight away, but I will always respond. And if you have been enjoying my series of videos, then do please get subscribed to the channel. That way you won't miss any of my uploads. But apart from that, that's the CO2 bolt fitted to the Barret. I will do a video very shortly showing some of the performance runs with that CO2 bolt, and then we'll go from there. But I hope you enjoyed that short video, guys, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one.